Shalom. Double honors to the apostles and elders who get millstone and rule well, and shalom to all the brothers doing the work of sincerity and truth. It's the brother M1 from the Jemas London camp. Saw this article and it kind of made me laugh because it's really think like 2016, 2017, 2018. I remember the preppers were them guys were getting demonized for a good little while, man. Them guys were basically being looked at like they were nut jobs. You know, they were crackpots, they were lunatics, they were whack jobs. That's how the media was kind of covering them, and it was like, oh, these guys are trying to build, underground bunkers. These guys are storing all forms of goods and Jesus, all forms of goods and all forms of goods and these guys are what? So all forms of goods. What the fuck? My brain is struggling. Foodstuffs, generators, water filtration systems, etc., etc. These guys are basically prepping like the end's coming, which if you're in the spirit, you know we're in the midst of that. Of that basically going down. The end is approaching swiftly. We're in the midst of it, and that's something that's been made evident and clear to the whole world. The whole world's really come round to like where they're like, yo, shit's got to a whole different level. The Russian Ukraine shit is like people are so engaged in the propaganda because why? Because there's that real existential threat of nuclear annihilation of this system. That's what's in people's minds. They're thinking like, shit. They're like, that guy could really do it. So it's become a reality. But going back then, these guys that were looking at them like they were fucking insane, like they were out of their minds, like they need to just go to the fucking club and shake a leg, man. But yeah, lo and behold, these men are doing good. So there's a long fucking article. This shit goes on forever because I think it talks to a couple different guys. But okay, let me read a bit. So it says, everyone should prep. The Britons stocking up for hard times. Oh, the fucking thing's being shit. Well, okay. So it says, whether it be C-19, Brexit, the climate crisis, or war in Ukraine, some are determined to be ready in case of the worst. And, yeah, that's the thing. Spirit's on quite a few people to kind of just be like, yo, shit's getting a bit on top. Let me put some shit together. And, some people it might be to their benefit. Some it may be to their downfall. Any guy that's actually prepping, I don't know why you'd want your big ass face in some newspaper so everyone knows where to come to get some shit if it gets real. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the guys that are really on their shit, they're you might not even know about them, bro. A man would just be like, yo, off the grid. Them men are trying to stay off the grid. They're trying to not even be seen by fucking facial recognition cameras. They're trying to not have a bank account. They're trying to use cash. They might even just be straight bartering and be like, fuck any kind of monetary system. But, now it's hip. Because why? Because, bruh, man had the toilet roll wars of 2020, man. So it says, even before the pandemic, some people were stocking up on essential items. Yeah, and it's funny because they kind of brush it over, but it's like, bro, these men were getting demonized heavy, man. He was saying, what, you got your bug out bag? Your bug out bag? And, even like in America, them men are, what do you call it? Storing up in them firearms. But yeah, even for some people stocking up on central items such as food and toilet roll in anticipation of supply chain disruptions wrought by Brexit or a fundamental civilizational collapse, which, that's where shit's headed. That's what it's gonna. That's that's how fucked it's gonna get. It's gonna be to where, as far as the system operates and functions now, this is gonna melt and be done away with. And then what, you can have a different system, where they got that mark involved, where essentially for you to participate, that's going to be a necessary, you're basically going to have to get down with that chip, which is why, those are the elect, those are hopeful elect. They curse that out, man. Tell it like, yeah, that's the MOTB, the mark, the charagma. You ain't got no business taking it. And that's going to be made mandatory. You had multiple articles being done on the chip as well, saying like, oh, you can use this for transactions. They're just kind of dashing out there every now and then. Some stockpiled candles, matches, and logs, and brought a wind-up radio for keeping in touch with the news. Others installed freezers and shelving in outbuildings in which to store food, and shifted a proportion of their savings into overseas accounts. Gold and silver as well. Hella people are hedging on gold. People that still have faith in the system, they're hedging in gold. Because anyone with a fucking brain on their head realizes gold can hold value better than a lot of other things. But also people are moving to crypto because they're looking at the coming system where, these systems, are basically going to be the bedrock. That's going to be the core. And the charagma as well, along with it. So, how did these preppers fare once C19 hit UK? Now being a prepper, that's, these guys are being looked at like they've got divine foresight. These preppers. Because now they're coming to them, people be like, oh, I might start. Okay, I might jump on. Now they're being treated like fucking human beings, bro. But these men were getting the piss taken out of them, bro. But we asked some to offer a glimpse inside their larder. Angie Strafford, 41 nurse practitioner from Leeds, started building a store of food after reading there may be problems with fresh goods coming into the UK in the event of a no-deal Brexit. And it's funny as well, because of the UK, because of Brexit, that shit was looking like a fucking complete and total mess for a good period of time. To where they were saying, oh yeah, there's a chance you get no fucking, no medicines, no this, no that. They were saying people fucking insulin, other things. So yeah, you might just drop dead, bro. The supply might be done. You might just fucking you might just be, just get annihilated, man. It was actually wild. It was actually wild, and they had the reports going out. They did the reports. Then they were kind of hiding them. Then when they had to come out and say, yeah, it's kind of likely that, everything could go fucking tits up. And then, people trying to brush that shit under the table. And it's funny because still impacting. It's like the ink's not even dried, really. The full, the full details of the deal between Britain and the EU, that's not even finalized. That's still being adjusted. We really forget Brexit even happened. Unless they're European. Started out as not wanting to run out of things that the little one likes. At the time, it was specifically olives, sun-dried tomatoes, and tinned tomatoes for making spaghetti bolognese. All thought to be things potentially affected by Brexit, but expanded to most of our common foods as well as extra bottles of Calpol and household items. Having a stock of store cupboard Ingredients came in handy when sea hit. As a non-driver, a single parent and a nurse, I didn't have time or means to keep going to the shops to look for sold out essentials. Yeah, there's that period of time where you have to queue up for like 2 fucking hours, hour and a half, just sitting there in a fucking parking lot, stepping forward a little bit at a time. We had to do that to queue up, and then shelves are empty as fuck. You get in there, it's like there's nothing on the fucking shelves. Man, I got one smashed one smashed tin of sardines. Pasta ceased to exist, bro. Pasta couldn't even be found. Man bought out all the pasta in Tesco. Fucking hell. So when my son and I caught sea last in September, I didn't feel well enough to cook, so I had to order in tins. Of soup and other easy bits and pieces. I now keep a stock of these things in case of illness. I think given the potential volatility of just-in-time delivery systems, the conflict in Ukraine, and the worsening climate emergency, it's important to have a safety net for difficult times. I've extended my stockpiling into growing my own fruit and veg with heirloom seeds and hope to seed save this year. The future could be difficult, and C has shown that the government will largely leave us to it in times of crisis. Yeah, for real. It's funny because they mentioned the just-in-time delivery system, and that's basically why there was that huge conductor shortage that basically fucked up a bunch of the conductor. It fucked up a bunch of like cars, computer parts, all these different things. And the supply went up as well, but it's like they're just in time because a bunch of shit went into lockdown. You had a whole lot of places where they were meant to produce things and deliver them and whatever. Money might have passed hands, all kinds of things might happen, but the shit just didn't arrive. Funny as hell. This shit really just didn't arrive. So yeah, because of that shit, that just just in time is the way I think it came from Japan originally, because Japan kind of had a system of where I think it was Toyota that developed it. Toyota had a system where in their factory to reduce costs and kind of streamline how things worked, allow them to have like smaller factories. They would basically have it where when depending on how many cars they're making and how far along they are in different levels of production, they would have bits that they need for certain parts of the production delivered to arrive just at the time they'll be needed. So they wouldn't have to have extra storage, just storing a bunch of shit. And it'd basically then just make it so they could have way lower costs because they're only paying for batches of smaller parts rather than having to buy a bulk of everything and then maybe buying enough to make 1,000 cars in one go rather than buying enough to start like maybe 20 like a few days worth or weeks worth or whatever of just a chassis. Then you have set to arrive later like stuff that's gonna go, okay, this is gonna go into building out certain parts of the frame or going towards the gear system or all kinds of shit. So they basically had it where shit would arrive along all different phases just as it was needed. And then, people from the West came around, they saw it, and they start because of them doing that, they were able to get hit way higher profit margins than other people. So everyone else jumped on the same shit. And it spread, from cars to various other industries as well. It became a good way of basically saving money. As long as everything runs smooth, then, everything will the end product will arrive much more efficiently and cheaper than arrive much more efficiently and cheaper than if you had to buy it in bulk. And that's why, like, as soon as a few of those like production lines shut down because of the lockdowns, then the whole thing crumbled. It's like, man are like, oh yeah, we got lockdowns, we can't even deliver shit to you, so we'll deliver when we open up. And then that, yeah, but hey, that shows as well with the UK with food. Boy, it's like if people ain't stockpiled any kind of long life kind of foods, bruh, it's toast. It's peak because they're really not gonna have any form of doing anything once it gets to the point where you go to Tesco's, they ain't got a delivery in like 3 weeks, and all you got on there is someone's fucking hair, some dust, and a fucking fat spider. Man, gonna be looking at the spider like that's a feast. Philip Marty, 54, London. I always had a secondary interest in basic survival and prepping. Nothing extreme, just a bug out bag. Man said the bug out bag. Containing anything that I might need in case of having to in case we have to leave the house in an emergency. Lights, radio, crank up phone chargers, cooking utensils, and some preparedness for likely scenarios that could force us to leave London in a jiffy, like a dirty bomb on the city, economic meltdown, a flash flood, or a pandemic. And that's the thing as well. It's like, it's not even like there's one thing. But that's it's funny because the way these men were getting looked at, it's like what are you guys prepping for? There's everything's gonna be a tickety boo, mate. Everything's gonna be fucking tickety boo. But everything wasn't in the end, and that's funny because it's like, as far as for these elites, these guys, it's like, bro, they grow their own food. They have their own bubbles where they can just have shit in order, to where they ain't relying on the public channels for things. As such, what the vast majority of people out here are just gonna get caught with their pants down, with their drawers on their knees, man. First Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah. These, the times. There's a few people that can, they had their eyes open to a certain extent to see what's coming, to, be prepping. And it's like, even with that, with certain things, it's what they're doing. It might not even be to their own benefit. Because as real as it's going to get is where, bro, when people ain't got shit, they're going to be looking to duppy, man, and take what they got, man. And, hey. Watch these post-apocalyptic movies, that shit gets real quick. Like The Road, Children of Men, films in with that kind of energy where everything's been torn down, everything's on top, it's got hella real. Then what do people prioritize? People start bashing other people over their head to fucking munch on their leg like a drumstick, man. People are gonna do a madness to survive. So as such, you going into a newspaper and plastering your face, possibly a picture of what part of the country you're in. So people can know where to hunt you down. isn't the wisest choice. Yeah. Um, for they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah, it's just gonna kick in, just like a baby that's 3 weeks early. She might have just been out in the garden, going for a walk, to get some fresh air, and then just all the next thing you know, she's like, God, the water's just broken, and she's having to be taken, into the hospital because she's about to birth a youth. That shit just came. There was, there was no means by which to allay it. You can't lung it off. My man's gonna start crawling his way out of there if you try to. But ye brethren are not in the dark, that their day should overtake you as a thief. Yeah. And as far as, for the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Hashem Harakakadash, they ain't just gonna be out there and just caught, willy nilly. Basically, the Lord's gonna have his covering. I'm really gonna know, gonna be prepped for what's to come. Ye are Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Can. Read a bit more. So it says, roughly a year before Brexit was imminent, we slowly started stocking up long-term foods, especially when they temporarily discounted and rotated the stock to avoid it going off. We had 2 large boxes, one long term in the garage, one shorter term under the staircase, plus some meat in the freezer. Then C happened and our Brexit boxes became C boxes. We carefully avoided panic buying or reacting emotionally to any news. Any shortage was properly shock absorbed by the stockpile, and we would replenish it later. I've added some more things over time, but not directly because of the pandemic. For instance, I replaced my disposable barbecues with a nice camping hob with gas canisters when I realized that in case we get the electricity cut off, we need to make hot water. Yeah. So as far as for him, because actually no, I didn't even read it. So it says stockpiling done rationally and properly planned is a great way to save money. You buy food on last month's or last year's prices, or bulk buy on sales and feel incredibly smug. Is that as well? There's people that might have bought things in bulk. They might have been doing like this guy and just watching for like, okay, let's see when it goes down, and buy up a bunch of different things, just because. It's like with the hand gel when the pandemic started, everyone was selling hand gel, paying like you having to pay like fucking £7 to £10 for the diddy little bottle that you would have bought for like £1 or 79p, or maybe not that cheap. Let's say about £2. You'd have been buying one before. Those went up to like 7, 10, some even like £12. Because why? Because everyone wanted them. The demand was high and there wasn't availability wasn't there. Even where I work, there's public dispensers for like what do you call it, hand sanitizer. And people were just running up on it with a bottle and pumping the thing to fill up their bottles. Man, they had to put a fucking warning there, or a warning, put some shit on there to fucking warn people, to make people stop doing that shit. That's funny as hell. That's and in those situations, you can take advantage to make a quick buck. It's just like what they say. A good example is a Big Short. whenever why is it that you always have, you know, the elite, the rich, the ultra wealthy betting against you know, against the market? Why do you have humongous bets against the market? Because they're, you know, expectations are and setting up things that get you know, certain things shut down, man. So you had the whole thing about insider trading with what's her name, Nancy Pelosi and shit. Oh god, it's like you have like, oh wow, she said like her partner sold stock like just before you know, the government announced some shit where it was gonna make the price go down. So you know, the fix is in, even the guys on the lower level. That's one funny. I've been hoarding food, water, medical essentials, and general survival gear since I watched the film The Road about 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a hard fucking film. I can see why she started stockpiling, man. Because she was like, yo, the road in which a man struggles to survive in a post apocalyptic world with his son, it chilled my blood how awful a scenario like that would be. And, uh, you know, back, you know, 2016, 2017, them times, you know, people would have just been like, y'all are nuts. But now it's like, oh, bruh, it's like the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's like people are really trying to just like, you know, you just get like, bro, you realize like that shit's peak as hell. Man just came in, rushed in, and started dupping the thing. It shows the shifts happen, man. Shit can get real as fuck out here. Um, I have enough water for 1 week, and the water filters and and then water filters and cleansers. I have enough food for 6 months. Some extras that would last longer. Sugar, oil, salt. I have a great array of legally obtained medicines. Yeah, right. But yeah, you got people out there stacking all kinds of shit, and you know, read this Isaiah uh 65 and 11. It says, but ye are they that forsake the Lord Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Yeah. So you hello, Jake, where they're basically, you know, they're down with, you know, this system, this kingdom, this rulership, and the way things run. So they're gonna get down with it. Cool. But it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, power. Behold, my servants shall eat, and ye shall be hungry. Yeah. So this is something that is a matter of the spirit. Because I'm gonna go into, you know, example after. But what is Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to take care of those that, you know, are being, you know, his servants. But, oh, okay. But ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So yeah. The Lord said his servants are going to eat, man. So as far as, all the carnal elements, I mean, you got to do what you got to do as well. But just know that, hey, the Lord's got your back when, these fucked up scenarios start taking place. Wherein I delight not. So therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, what's it with that? Behold, my servant shall eat, and ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, and ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, and ye shall be ashamed. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord Yahweh shall slay thee and call these servants by another name. Yeah, you can end up getting ended, man. Because hey, it's like, what power have you trusted in, man? Who are you relying on to save you? Should be Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because if not, you ain't got the covering. Let me read this. So, an example of being sustained. So, 1 Kings 17:1, and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my words. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto him, saying, get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according unto the word of the Lord Yahweh, for he went and walked by the brook Cherith that is not before Jordan. No, that is before Jordan, so like, And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So yeah, basically just being sustained of the Lord through the Spirit. And that's the thing is, it could be through some means like this, but also it's going to be like the road where you have the point. It's funny she mentioned the road because she said she started prepping. There's a scene in the road where you have an underground, like, I can't remember if they just fall in. Maybe they discover it, but I feel like one of them just falls in into the an underground bunker that's just kind of open out there in someone's backyard. And then it's just fucking filled to the brim with food, man. Just like hundreds of cans. And them man didn't get shit. It's like some people are doing all this prepping. It's like if they can't even get to the place where the shit is, it's a rep. That they ain't doing nothing for you. And then hey, the Lord could just have it where, he has one of his servants pass through and do what they need to do and, get sustained off it. But that's how the Spirit works, man. The Lord will have mercy on whom will have mercy. And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto him, saying, arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks, and he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And she said, as the Lord Yahweh thy power liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meat in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse, and behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, and that we may eat it and die. Yeah, because that's how peak it was getting. Well, also in the road, man, you had what's his name, the main guy, and his son, he was basically, when his wife was still about, they were, just trying to, survive, make shit do. Then he got to the point where his wife would just couldn't hack it anymore. She was like, "Yo, no, this is a wrap," and it's just Charlize Theron just fucking stalked off into the night, man, and likely got obliterated and eaten, man. Because that's how real it is sometimes. Sometimes you're just gonna be like, "Yo, okay, it's gonna be the last meal. I'm gonna have to be out of here." And Elijah said unto her, "Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make thee thereof but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, the barrel of meat shall not waste, neither shall a cruse of oil fail unto the day that the Lord Yahweh sendeth rain upon the land." Yeah, so the Lord basically had it set where it was only gonna, the famine was gonna last, how long it was gonna last, but hey, Elijah would be maintained, for this woman. And she went and sent rain upon a cruise until the day. Okay, yeah, and she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days, and the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fat, according to the word of the Lord Yahweh, which he spake by Elijah. Yeah, so he had it maintained to where they were able to live off it for time. Whoa. But hey, that's how the Lord's gonna get down. That's a funny thing. It's like with these preppers, the Lord's got these guys doing the most, doing the utmost. But in reality, a lot of that shit they may not even get to enjoy it, man. But yeah, shows the times that now they're getting taken seriously, man. It's I said it multiple times, but it's funny as hell still. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom.